This channel is exclusively for people who can't sleep. It's especially recommended for people who have ever fallen asleep during class at school. If you can't sleep, just listen to this video over and over again until you can fall asleep, and you might be able to understand English one day. Let's get started. Good night.
Cinderella. Once upon a time, in a certain country, there was a very beautiful and kind-hearted girl. But sadly, her mother passed away when she was still young. So, her father remarried, and the girl gained a new stepmother and 2 stepsisters. However, the stepmother and the 2 stepsisters were all extremely mean-spirited. The stepmother didn't like her stepdaughter, who was more beautiful than her own daughters. "Well, you are such a hateful girl," she would say. The stepmother and the 2 sisters forced all the hard work onto the girl, from preparing meals to doing laundry and cleaning. They even took away her beautiful room and locked her away in a dirty, cobweb-filled attic. While the 2 sisters slept comfortably in soft, warm beds in a beautiful room with a large mirror, Cinderella had to sleep curled up on a straw mattress like a dog with only a thin blanket. The 2 sisters wore fine, fashionable clothes made by the town's best tailor, while Cinderella wore ragged, patched-up clothes. Moreover, she was not allowed to take a bath, and her hair was always covered in soot. Because of all this, the sisters started calling her Cinderella, which meant the girl with soot on her. Despite all the cruelty she faced, Cinderella's beauty far surpassed that of her stepsisters. One day, the prince of the kingdom announced he would hold a ball to find a bride. Invitations were sent to the 2 stepsisters. They were overjoyed. "Perhaps I will become the prince's bride." No, not perhaps, but definitely. The 2 sisters ordered Cinderella to bring them their dresses for the ball. "Look, Cinderella, don't you think this red velvet dress with English lace looks lovely?" "Cinderella, look at this one too. This gold-patterned cloak with diamonds is a very expensive item." While helping them dress, Cinderella smiled brightly and said, "Yes, it suits you both so well." The sisters then called the best hairdresser in town to style their hair and put on decorations. The stepmother and the 2 sisters were laughing and having a great time. Cinderella, watching enviously, heard the older sister say, "Cinderella, do you wish to go to the ball too?" "Ah, I see, you're teasing me. How could someone like me go to a ball?" The younger sister laughed. "Of course. If a soot-covered girl like you went to the ball, you'd be the laughingstock of everyone." "Yes, I suppose so." Cinderella held back her tears and forced a smile as she watched her stepsisters leave for the ball. Once they had left, Cinderella became very sad and began crying. "Oh, I really want to go to the ball. I want to meet the prince." But with her ragged clothes, Cinderella was not even allowed into the castle, let alone attend the ball. Just then, a voice called out to her. "Stop crying, Cinderella. Who's there?" Suddenly, a fairy godmother appeared before Cinderella, holding a magic wand. "Cinderella, even though you've faced so much sadness, you always smile and do your best. As a reward for that, I will help you go to the ball." "Really?" "Yes, really. First, Cinderella, go pick a pumpkin from the garden." Cinderella went to the garden and picked a pumpkin. The fairy waved her wand and tapped the pumpkin 3 times. Before Cinderella's eyes, the pumpkin grew bigger and turned into a golden carriage. "My, what a beautiful carriage!" the fairy proudly said. "See? But that's just the beginning. Now, to pull the carriage, we need horses. Where can we find them?" "Ah, 6 mice from the mousetrap should do. The fairy took 6 mice from the mousetrap and tapped each one with her wand. Each mouse turned into a beautiful white horse. Next, there's a big gray mouse in the trap, isn't there? The fairy waved her wand over the gray mouse, and it transformed into a chubby coachman with a big mustache. Cinderella, now go gather 6 lizards. Okay. Cinderella gathered the lizards, and the fairy turned them into well-dressed footmen. See? Now we have a carriage, white horses, a coachman, and footmen. You're all set for the ball. Thank you, but I don't have a proper dress. Oh, how careless of me. The fairy waved her wand, and Cinderella's shabby clothes transformed into a sparkling, pure white gown. The fairy also gave Cinderella a pair of beautiful glass slippers. Now, go and have fun at the ball. But remember, my magic only lasts until midnight, so don't forget. Thank you, I'll go now. At the ball, the grand hall was filled with beautiful girls in splendid dresses, all hoping to catch the prince's eye and become his bride. Then, Cinderella appeared in the golden carriage, drawn by 6 white horses. As she entered the ballroom, everyone fell silent, mesmerized by her beauty. The prince noticed her immediately and stepped forward. Would you do me the honor of dancing with me? Cinderella danced beautifully, and the prince couldn't take his eyes off her. They danced together, lost in the moment, and time flew by. Before she knew it, it was almost midnight. Oh no. I must go. Good night, prince. Cinderella curtsied politely and hurriedly left the ballroom. In her rush, one of her glass slippers got caught on the stairs and fell off. She didn't have time to go back for it, as the magic would wear off at midnight. She quickly got into the carriage and rushed back home. The prince, who had followed her, picked up the glass slipper and declared, "I will marry the girl whose foot fits this glass slipper." The next day, messengers from the castle went all over the kingdom, looking for the girl whose foot the glass slipper fit. But because the glass slippers had been made only for Cinderella, no one else's foot fit. Eventually, the messengers arrived at Cinderella's house. "Now, daughters, if this slipper fits, you will marry the prince." "Yes, mother." The 2 stepsisters squeezed their feet into the glass slipper, but it was too small for them. "Unfortunately, it seems the girl from yesterday is not here," the messenger said, preparing to leave. At that moment, Cinderella appeared and asked, "May I try it on?" The 2 stepsisters laughed. "Don't be ridiculous. If it didn't fit us, it certainly won't fit you." But when Cinderella tried on the glass slipper, it fit perfectly. The stepsisters and their mother were so shocked they couldn't say a word. Then, the fairy godmother appeared again. "Ah, it's my turn now." With a wave of her wand, Cinderella's shabby clothes turned back into the beautiful gown she had worn the previous night. "Is this the Cinderella from last night?" The stepsisters and their mother were stunned. "Ah, the girl who won the prince's heart was you. Now, Cinderella, the future princess, the prince is waiting for you at the castle." The stepsisters and their mother were pale with fear. If Cinderella married the prince, she would become a princess, and they were terrified of what might happen to them after all the horrible things they had done to her. The 3 of them quickly apologized for their actions, and Cinderella, smiling, said, "I don't hold a grudge. But please, from now on, be kind to me." Cinderella went to the castle with the messenger and married the prince, becoming a princess. At their wedding, the 2 stepsisters were invited. Cinderella, now a princess, saw them in the crowd and approached them. She gently embraced them and introduced them to the young nobleman at the wedding. As a result, the two stepsisters married young nobles and became aristocrats. Cinderella was not only beautiful but also very kind-hearted. It was because of her goodness that the fairy godmother gave her such a wonderful gift.